achieving a goal we had at the beginning of the season.
Last year was difficult for all of us, but even though we finished poorly last year, I didn't feel like we were as far away as most. I had confidence in the development of some of our young.
Certainly,
Guys got great experience as younger players and would make the next step, especially guards like KJ and Rod. Really want to credit those guys for their leadership this year. I thought that was one of the few areas of concern that I had in terms of just positive voices from the team that were giving good messages of work and accountability and belief. And those guys did that. And, our players worked extremely hard. Our players and coaches worked extremely hard starting last spring with skill development. And I want to give credit and thank our administration for giving us the opportunity to take a trip to Italy. I think that was vital with this year's team and well planned by our staff a couple years back to know that this would be the time in our program when we would need some extra games and time of development. I think those practices were really good. I think the skill development in the spring is where we really again got back to working hard and laying a foundation of work. But I think the trip to Italy is where we began to lay the foundation of team and really beginning to lay out some roles for guys, allow some guys some opportunities to do some different things. Certainly some of our young post players, Landry in particular, got to play significant minutes and be a starter and do all the things that are asked of that. And that trip was just a great one in all phases. And, from there, I thought we just built great confidence and did some good things through the fall and got ourselves ready. We didn't worry about what people said about our team. We believed in each other, and KJ and Rod especially, I think, were that way. And then the games wore on, and we got confidence with some early season wins, and really our tough-mindedness allowed us to win some close games this year. I think as a coach, you're proud of your team for playing to their potential, playing to their ability level, for being unselfish, for believing, for being together, and this team did that. They were coachable every day, came to practice, they really wanted to work, and we worked hard for a long time. Our practices were challenging, demanding, good depth, and very competitive. And I think the competition in practice was good for our team as well. And so obviously I'm very pleased with the way things finished. I would have liked to have won a couple of those at the end and maybe snuck into the tournament. We were close enough to get there, but with what happened with the NIT, it was a great experience, especially those last 2 weeks. The last couple of games in Little John were amazing and certainly ways to continue to build and re-energize our fan base. That was special and great memories for our players and coaches. And a trip to New York was a great way to cap off a season. I wish we would have played a better second half. We didn't play well in the second half of SMU and lost to a good team. But to start in Rome and end in New York's a pretty good season. So, questions?
Brad, obviously, I'm guessing you still don't know anything about KJ.
No.
He'll be back or not.
No.
Does that make it difficult to even think about going forward at this point?
Yes and no. I mean, it's, I've sat here every year and up until this year, and, the thought of I've lost my 2 leading scorers every year. I'd rather not do that one time and see what that's like. But I haven't been able to do that. I'm going to support KJ in whatever decision he makes. Obviously, I'm very fond of him. I'm proud of him. I'm thankful that we got him and for what he's done for us. But we're still all collecting information, and, he and I are going to continue to meet and sit down and discuss. And he's obviously doing that with family. And at the end of the day, he'll do what he thinks best for him. And if it's come back to Clemson, that'd be great. Certainly would love to see 32 back out there. He's been a special player, and he's been a special young man. He's done some some really good things behind the scenes with our team that as a coach, you're really proud of watching the growth that way also.
What was it about the team that might have surprised you as the season wore on? One thing that I think of is rebound margin, how you were always on the plus, and maybe going in, there were a lot of question marks inside. Was that?
Yeah, there was some concerns about rebounding, certainly because Milt and Devin were both big, strong guys, good rebounders. That was a concern. And I think, KJ is such an outstanding rebounder for a wing that, that helps. It helps a lot. There's a lot of smaller things that KJ does that affect wins that are beyond the, a made basket or whatnot, the block shots and just altered shots and, rebounds and easy baskets he gets. But that was certainly a concern of ours. So I think and in the end, to be honest with you, the rebounding got away from us some, and we lost some games because of it. And it's something we got to continue to be better at next year if we're going to improve. But, I think we did a pretty good job. I think, defensively we made some positive strides. We identified a weakness of giving up threes last year. We tried to be better at that at the beginning of the year. I think we were, but as the season wore on, our three-point defense was poor a year ago. This year it was outstanding. And, some of that variety of reasons, but I think we coached it better. I think Landry did some good things on ball screen defense. I think we had a little more experienced perimeter players, which helped. I just think we did a tremendous job defensively in a lot of ways, and that really was a big part of the impetus for our success and helped our team overachieve a little bit to some people.
Consider what you have coming in and, who's coming back. What is a legitimate goal for next season?
Too early. I don't know what our goals are. I mean, we certainly would love to take the next step, and we want to play in the NCAA tournament. But everybody wants that all the time. I'm not as big as some people on I don't know, they're just these real big, broad goals all the time. I think, that's something a lot of times you just throw out there, but then working every day, you don't really think about that. I don't know how many, everybody says they want to make the tournament, but in September and even in April and May right now, are you really like, is that what's, I don't know if that's what's, you're like Rocky where you put that picture in your mirror, and I don't know if our guys have brackets everywhere and stuff like that. I don't know that a lot of teams do that. They talk about it, but I think you just got to work at getting better, and you got to identify things within your program that you want to be better at, both individually and then collectively as a team. Like three-point defense for us was an area of improvement that we set out to be better at, and we achieved it. And we'll have to analyze a lot of film and think about our team, and the great thing about coaching is you take this group of guys and you think you have this, and sometimes it's like Christmas. Every day it's a little bit different. Every season's different. You open up a new package and this guy's better at this than you thought because he had a great off season, or this guy improved at this. And then you got to try to take those skill sets and blend them into a team. And it's not only the skill sets they have, but it's it's their egos, it's their personalities, and obviously that's what's hard to quantify when you're picking ballots and picking teams and picking records. Is I've said this to you guys before. There are a lot of people out there wearing the same jerseys. There aren't as many true teams out there as people think, and that's one thing we had this year was a team. We had guys that were unselfish. We had guys that accepted roles. We had guys that did their jobs and were proud to do their jobs and accepted their jobs and weren't trying to do more than that. And the guys got along really well. And because of that, we played as close to our potential on most nights as most people.
You talked quite a bit about that in New York and kind of with us. I mean, are there programs or a program out there that you view as, okay, that's a team year in and year out?
Well, I think obviously most of the time it's teams that are successful, but I think you can still look at teams that fight all that all the time. I mean, I would imagine if you looked at the way Kentucky played this year, that at one point there for a while when things weren't going as well, you got a collection of great talent that, it's not easy now. It's really hard with Coach Calipari to do it with that much turnover every year.